were maintained like quite well. So when we go to the site, we are feeling a completeness of the atmosphere and the landscape. So when we talk about integrity, we have to think about how large the site, the heritage site should be preserved, and whether that area is representative enough for other visitors to understand the meaning and history of the site. Okay, so I want to use this diagram to explain what is integrity and authenticity. So authenticity basically is talking about a time dimension. We are trying to reverse the eclipse of the time, but still we want to preserve the information related to the time process. For integrity, we are trying to talking about spatial dimension. We want to identify an area including the most critical parts of a cultural heritage. One is temporal, and the other one is spatial. Okay, so for conserving archaeological sites or buildings, here is the summary. First, we need to protect the entire site building or the group of buildings. We should prevent changes in the layout, and we should use the original materials for conservation. We should represent authentic and historic value. And basically, we are trying to freeze the cultural heritage to represent how it looked like at a certain point of time. So this is the way how to do conservation for tangible cultural heritage. But one thing I want to remind you is that when we try to employ similar idea for intangible cultural heritage, especially for living village, the story will be completely different. Yes, we need to balance the development and protection. We can change the function appropriately as long as the original structure is maintained. But here is the critical part. How can we reverse the eclipse of time if the social life of village was not ended? And how can we freeze a tradition that is still ever-changing and reshaping? For archaeological site, for historical building, somehow the social life already stopped at a certain point of time, so that we can do the reverse, right? Whenever we say reversing, then definitely we have an ending point, so that we can start the reversing. But for a living village, if you want to employ similar principles, first we need to find that ending point. But whether we can find that ending point for a living village, I think it is a very critical and very controversial problem. And we'll talk about that later in the village lecture. Okay, so conclusion, I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know it's Friday afternoon, you guys must be very exhausted. After I have been talking here for 1 hour and 30 minutes, here is the general conclusions. I'm not going to read it, and you can just read these conclusions by yourself. And remember, next week, for undergraduate students, we are not going to have tutorials. And for MA students, we will keep our tutorials on Monday, right after the lecture, and we will combine the two together. Okay, have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.